Good morning everyone and welcome to today's video. So today's video is actually talking about yesterday. So our first day at Universal officially was the 27th of December. Sam is working on putting away stuff out of our luggage this morning while we're getting ready. And so I kind of decided not to video a lot. I decided just to take pictures. So you're going to get a big photo montage, and you will also get me talking about things that happened throughout the day, and that's how this video is going to go. So let's get started. So the week of December 27th through the 1st, while we were here, they have early admission starting at 7 a.m. for those who are staying at a Universal theme park or who have purchased a ticket through a travel agent. Did I say theme park? I meant resort. And somehow I ended up with a dental stick in my shoe. That was weird. Like you guys needed to know that. So we got up and around, and we obviously have not been in a theme park in a while. Because by the time we got down to the bus, the line was long. However, Universal did a phenomenal job of having buses pretty much on back to back, getting people from the resort to the theme park. Now, Endless Summer is two resorts. It's Dockside and Surfside, and they're across the street from each other. We're staying at Dockside. We are stop number 2 of the Endless Summer resorts. So the buses would go from the theme park to Surfside to Dockside back to the resort, back to the theme park. So you had a 50-50 shot of 1, getting on the bus because it may be full, or 2, having a seat. We actually only waited about, 20 minutes to get on a bus? Maybe, not even that. Like we said, the buses were coming back to back to back. They had, like you've seen them at Disney, they look like 2 buses put together with like the accordion in the center. They had several of those coming through. So Universal did a phenomenal job of getting everyone to the theme park as quickly as they possibly could. So we got to the theme park, and like I said, there was early admission for those with a resort ticket, resort stay, or having a TA book them their ticket, which is a benefit of using a travel agent if you're planning to stay off property. But I definitely suggest staying on property for convenience. So we had breakfast reservations at the 3 Broomsticks, which is in the Hogsmeade area of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, which is an Island of Adventures. So that's where we headed when we went through City Walk to start our day. Now, I was like, well, our reservation wasn't until 10. However, just note that if you want to do breakfast, there's a 50-50 shot of you being able to do a walk-in, but typically you do need to have a pre-purchase reservation for breakfast. Now, we were actually able to get in and be eating breakfast by about 8 o'clock. So we both got the American breakfast, and I will insert pictures right here of our breakfast. So Sam and I both had the American breakfast, which consisted of 2 bacon strips, 2 sausage links, eggs, and some breakfast potatoes, and a croissant. Now, everything was really good. On a scale of 1 to 10, we'd actually give it an 8, simply because the eggs were kind of cold. Okay, the eggs were cold. Sam ate his eggs first, and when he said they were cold, I opted not to eat mine, so I didn't even try them. I don't like cold eggs. But everything else was really, really good. We also each had a different drink. I had the frozen butterbeer, and Sam had the pumpkin juice. The frozen butterbeer, if you've ever had Lefroy's Brew in the Magic Kingdom, I think it tastes a lot like Lefroy's Brew. And some people may disagree with that. Let me know in the comments. But that's what I think the frozen butterbeer tastes like. Sam had the pumpkin juice, which to me tasted kind of like a pumpkin-y apple cider. It was really, really good. Definitely something that I would get again while down here at Universal. So once we left leaving IOA, we went over to the Hogwarts Express to take the train from IOA over to Studios. Now, here's something that you do need to know if you have never been to Universal before. To ride the train, you must have a park to park ticket, aka you must have a park hopper ticket in Disney terms. So we jumped on the train and we chatted with a lovely couple that we met on with their family. They had an extra day left over from a 2020 ticket, don't we all? And so they were using their one day while they were in town. So once we got to the Universal side of the Wizarding World, I wanted to check at Shutter Buttons because when I purchased my photo package last November before I went on my Universal sponsored trip, I had things like Shutter Buttons and Rip Ride Rocket videos attached to that purchase. It was a kind of a bonus for purchasing a 18-month pass. Now, not only did I have a Shutter Buttons DVD, which if you remember my Universal trip, I added a clip of that video, that interactive video. I won't be able to insert that because it is in DVD form. So we did the Shutter Buttons, but we also have 2 Rip Ride Rocket videos. We have some prints available. So we will definitely make sure to use all of those while we're here because we just won't be back to Universal, unfortunately, before that photo package expires. So once we finished at Shutter Buttons, we wandered around Wizarding World a little bit, but it was starting to get really busy. So a quick tip inside of this video is that if you are planning to go to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, do that very first thing, especially if you have the early park admission, because once they start letting in regular guests, everything in the Wizarding World will get packed. The outside of the parks will be super easy to navigate, but the Wizarding World will be super packed. So we went from the Wizarding World over to one of my favorite rides, which is Revenge of the Mummy, that we wanted to see before it goes under refurb, because the current rumor is that they're going to be taking out the ending part with Brendan Fraser, where he gets.
The interview would have been better if I'd had my cup of coffee.
If you've noticed, I haven't given Sam coffee yet today, but it is only 5:30 in the morning. So from Revenge of the Mummy, we went through the tribute store, which was really fun, and each of the different rooms has a different theme, and you will see all of these pictures in a photo montage at the end of the video. So we wandered through the tribute store, and the only thing that I dislike this year compared to last year is the last room last year was full of different holiday treats that you could get. And they did have one room that had holiday treats, but not as many as last year. So definitely something that I did like last year's tribute store more than this year's tribute store. Once we left the tribute store, the Race Through New York with Jimmy Fallon only had a 10-minute wait, which pretty much meant that it was a walk-on. And if you've never been through that ride, they give you a colored up ticket. And then you can hang out. They've got clips of different Tonight Show videos going on, and the lights in the room will change to the different colors. So like our color was orange. So we probably waited about 5 to 10 minutes for our color. And then we went racing off through New York with Jimmy Fallon. Spoiler alert, we won. And from there, we decided it was about 10:30, and we did want to kind of beat the lunch rush. So we headed over to Sam's Pick for lunch, which was Mel's Diner. Mel's Diner is featured in the Lucasfilm American Graffiti, and the last time that Sam came in 2018, the cars in front of Mel's Diner were not there because of Halloween Horror Nights. So that was on Sam's must-do, is to go eat there and see the cars from American Graffiti. So Sam had the bacon cheeseburger, and I had the grilled chicken sandwich. And let me tell you, that chicken sandwich was absolutely phenomenal. It comes with a grilled chicken breast with lettuce and tomato on a toasted bun. They do have condiments with mayo, hot sauce, salt and pepper, ketchup, mustard, whatever you might want to put on it. Sam and I did halvesies of both the burger and the chicken sandwich, and Sam even said that the chicken was great. It was cooked, but it wasn't overdone. Like, because chicken can get overdone so easy. This was moist and juicy. It was a great chicken sandwich. I definitely will be eating that again. And it's definitely a healthy option if you are looking for eating something a little bit healthier while in the theme parks. From lunch, well, we kind of wandered around a little bit and decided to do the Born Spectacular, because even when I was back here in November of last year, it was not open yet. So we went through and did the Born Spectacular experience, and just an FYI, there is no videoing or photography allowed during the show. So please be respectful of that. Don't be like some of the people that were there and taking pictures anyway. They do make the announcement several times, no photos or video, which was really, really cool. And like the stage moves, and it was just so cool. I was sitting there going, holy cow, this was really, really neat. So from there, we wandered through the gift shop. Now, the gift shop for the Born Spectacular and the horror makeup show do connect. So there's a lot of like horror, Universal horror, along with the Born Spectacular merchandise, excuse me, in that one location. So we took some pictures with the statues that were in there, the Mummy, Frankenstein's monster, Dracula, the Thing, and there was a really horror-ish Christmas tree, and it was really decorated really cool, like arms coming out of it and chains. It was really, really neat. So from there, we just kind of wandered around the park for a couple hours, and we did a lot of character meets. Now, unlike Disney, where you can look on the app and see where characters are meeting, these characters can move. These characters may or may not be there. That may be a 5-minute line. The character may not be out for very long. So we met tons of characters. We saw Scooby and the gang. We saw the penguins of Madagascar. We saw the hippo from Madagascar. We saw King Julius. We saw Earl the Squirrel. Now, Earl the Squirrel is a fairly new character to Universal's Christmas lineup. Earl the Squirrel is actually normally featured only in the tree, but earlier in December, Earl the Squirrel got his own meet and greet. So we happened to pop across him, and he can be in a couple of different places. He sometimes can be by the big Christmas tree right by Revenge of the Mummy, or he can be next to the Hello Kitty statue, right as you're coming in, kind of across from the Today Cafe. So definitely, if you are on the hunt for Earl the Squirrel, those are a couple places to find him. So at this point, we were getting really tired. We were debating on whether to come back to the room and rest for a while. We knew that we wanted to see the Macy's parade, and Sam kept going, Lena, do you want to go back to the room? Do you want to rest? It was getting really hot. I was having some problems breathing, so we went inside of Finnegan's, and there was nowhere to really sit except for a bench, kind of like a waiting section. So we sat there, we had something cold to drink, and then we kind of wandered around. Sam got a Duff beer. I tried a little bit of it. To me, Duff beer tastes a lot like Sam Adams. Let me know in the comments if you think the same. So we were kind of trying to decide what to do. And we were coming, down Hollywood Boulevard, I think is what they call it. But right there, right around where the Password Lounge is, right across from Mel's Diner. And the horror makeup show was getting ready to start. And I was like, hey, let's go watch this. And Sam's like, well, yeah, I've been wanting to see that. Inside, they have a ton of like props and memorabilia and stuff. So that's really cool. Even if you don't want to watch a show, it's worth it just to go in and check all that out. The show is hilarious. Please do know, if you have young kids, there is some fake blood. They show clips of horror movies that might be a little scary for younger kids. Just make sure that your kids are aware that it is fake. It is the movies. So from there, we ended up watching the show twice, once from the back and once from the front. I do recommend that if you want a good view, is to be there as soon as you can, so that you are able to get down into the front seating. Otherwise, you're going to be up to the back, and while it's still good seating, it's better to view it down in the front area. So after that, it was about 3:45, and we knew where we wanted to sit for the parade, which is right in front of Mel's, right where they come out of from backstage. So I checked with the team member and said, this is not reserved seating, correct? And they said, no, it's not. So I hung out there, and Sam went off to get us pretzels from Auntie Anne's, which we found out later, right across from us at a little cafe, they have jalapeno stuffed pretzels, which we will be trying later on in this trip. So Sam got us each a thing of Auntie Anne's pretzel bites with some cheese, and he refilled our universal refillable Coke cup, and we just hung out, and the parade started at 5:30, and the parade in itself will be a whole nother video, but I will insert some pictures I have here of at the end of the parade. So I videoed the parade. Sam took photos, I took photos. It was a phenomenal parade. If you haven't seen it, it's got actual Macy's balloons in it that are on loan to Universal from the Macy's parade. It's a wonderful parade. You have to see it. And after that, we had originally thought about going to Finnegan's for dinner, but somehow my pants got wet, and I'm not quite sure how that happened. So we decided to come on back to the room and grab something in the quick service Pier 8 market here at Dockside. We each got our own small pizza. It's about the size of a Blaze pizza, and they actually have a gluten-free crust, and they have a dedicated gluten-free, nut-free area.
Yeah, I think so.
That's all its own area. And so I got the triple P pepperoni gluten-free pizza, and Sam had a meat lovers pizza, and they were $13 and $14 respectively for a whole pizza, all to myself. And we both ended up eating about 2/3 of the pizza. We each did get a soda, which was about $4, so it's a little higher for a bottled soda, but we kind of were in need of the sugar by the end of the day. So once we ate dinner, we kind of ended up just crashing. But overall, it was such a great start to our trip, and I can't wait to see what today has in store. Speaking of today, it's 5:40, and we probably need to start getting headed down towards the buses because early admission starts in a little over an hour, so buses are already starting to run. So guys, thanks so much for hanging out today. Sorry, like I said, I didn't do a whole lot of videoing, but I didn't want to live my whole vacation first day through the camera, but I did take a lot of pictures for you to enjoy. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow for another video. Bye!